So, hey, good to see you. I want to do a new sprint animation for my character because I never actually did one. There's a few things I want to do first, but got my little character in the game running around. And if we, we're just running here. If we sprint, that sprint animation that we have is a combination of two things. We have our running animation, our forward run, and what else? We have a layer an additive animation playing on top of it. So I'm taking that forward run and I'm increasing the rate scale, the play rate by, I don't know, 2. Let's go look at it. Let's go out of the game. You can see in sequencer here, I've got that animation running around. And I've got it on one of the control rigs. Let's just hide everything else. What else do I need to hide? This player start. There we go. Good. So got that animation playing on the control rigs. I'm in Unreal 5.5.4. So if I mute this layer, so I try to set up my scene as much as possible, like I'm working in Maya. I did this animation in Maya. So I'll bring, oops, that's max. I'll bring Maya up real quick. Close max. I don't want max running. Okay. So this animation was in Maya originally. I exported it from Maya, brought it into the game, imported that animation onto this SKM, and then baked down the animation onto the control rig. And I've made some minor modifications to the animation. So if I wonder if I can bring in the same character twice. Nope. I'll dupe it though. I'll move this character over. So bring in this animation again. This one. Yeah, you'll see the differences here. First thing that I want to do is, well, okay. If I bake it to the control rig, so right click, I'll bake to the control rig. I'll just go ahead and delete that animation. I don't need that. I think it does something weird with the head. I had to fix that head. So went in here, selected my head control. Where are we? Here we are. This head control. Went to the curves. Bring the curves up. Hitting this little button right here. Show the animation curves in Curve Editor. Come to the curves. Go over to my gel box, essentially like in Maya. Oh, we come over here. Let's find characters, hero, anims, locomotion. That's probably it. It's been a while since I've touched these. Looks like I was doing some. So I've got this animation. Looks like I'm doing a diagonal version here, so I can forward left. Let's see if I can get rid of those. There we are. So there's that animation in Maya. So that's where I originally animated it. But day to day, I'm working in Unreal only. I have no Maya pipeline. And so I want to switch this game project to that eventually too, where I'm creating all my animations in Unreal rather than in Maya. Number one, Unreal's free. Number two, the tools are pretty awesome. If you're not animating in Unreal yet, I quite frankly highly suggest that you do. It's a lot of fun, I think. Anyway, I had to clean that head up. So what I did under these curves, let's look at this curve here. I don't like any of that. So basically, it's just deleting half of it just to get some of that junk out of the way. Now we're on Y here. So if we're rotating, so we've got our local space, our local rotation. I'm just going to delete those. Just for some quick wins. So we're going to have that head bobbing back and forth. I'm not sure how much of that I kept. I like to animate in unlit mode. My machine isn't really that fast, so it makes it a little faster. And then I made some changes here too, to the up-down, the head bobbing vertically rather than like the side to side or twisting. So there you go. You just do that, and that looks pretty good too. Anyway, I don't need two of these suckers running around. We're just gonna delete that one. Get this out of there. Resave my scenes. Always save. Okay, what's next? Yeah, I was gonna open up the AVP and find where I'm doing the sprint. Maybe it'll open. Or just waiting, just twiddling my thumbs. I'm watching the mouse spin around in the bottom right corner. Ah, there it goes. Okie dokie. So let's go to the anim graph. There's a lot going on with this character. I might explain it later. So we have locomotion. Coming over to sprint. I originally made this in 5.1, and I just recently transitioned to 5.5.4. And I'm really looking forward to 5.6 updates. Okay, so we're moving, and we're playing this cache pose right here. Come there, and then here's the cache pose that's playing. Let's see, looks like we're playing BS HG base Loco. If I double click that, we can play this here. Let me see, no speed, no direction. But if we speed up, we're playing that animation here, which is our base run forward. So we see, like, I don't have that named sprint. We can also see our rate scale is at 1.5, so I'm playing it 50% faster. I'm not good at the math, so I can't tell you exactly how many frames that is. But yeah, you can see how much faster that is. And then on top of that, you see we have leans here. Okay, but in sprint, so if we go back to the anim graph, locomotion, we're in sprint. So we have a sprint start. So when we enter sprint, so if I just over here, play, let's bring this down here. Well, let's bring it off to the side here. There we are. We're going to watch the graph move. So we're in move start. We go to move. Then I hit my shift button. we go move sprint start, and then now we're in sprint. And then we're in there, our sprint finish there. So if we zoom in on this little character here, we can kind of see a little better what's going on. So we have our move. Whenever I alt out, I have a hotkey that if I hit alt, it'll change my movement speed. I don't have a walk or a jog, a proper walk or jog. So I just have sprint. And actually, I just have run. So um, anytime I alt tab out of something, it changes my movement speed. So if you see that, I just need to hit my alt button. Anyway, okay, so we're getting to move sprint, and then we're playing on top of our basic locomotion. So we're starting to, the transition rule is sprinting. So I can show you where that rule is later. But when we activate sprint, we come into this state, then we play our cached movement pose here, and then we play this additive sprint animation. So I just created this little this little animation that's basically like a sprint start. That's all we're playing there. Then just trying to see if there's any other parameters here. So that's as a base. Let's see, what is the, looks like it's just our rig pose. Okay, so if we go back, we run around, and we're sprinting. You can feel that sprint enter animation. Boom, moves forward. You see that in the little window here, that little sprint animation plays. When that's done playing, our transition rule is to just automatically transition. So once that additive animation is done, we'll transition to our sprint animation. And we see on our sprint animation, I have another additive because I don't have a proper sprint. So I just lean the character forward a little bit. Maybe I change the arm poses a little bit. So when we're sprinting, that lean forward pose is playing on top of our animation here, our run animation. So that keeps our character leaned forward. So I wanted to create a proper sprint. I actually really like this, which is why for as long as I've been working on this in my spare time, I've just kept this animation in there the way it is. As far as game design goes and game dev, I feel like if just do as little as possible to make it look good. Uh, so like if you can say change the rate scale on an animation and put an additive pose on there, and that achieves the same effect in with little effort, right? So like that's pretty low lift. And if it doesn't look good, at the very least you can go back and say, you know what, I am absolutely going to replace this. But if it does look good, then maybe that's one animation you don't have to do. You don't have to worry about, going back and replacing if you really don't want to, or you don't have the time, or your effort can be spent someplace else. Like there isn't a lot of bang for the buck if I eventually change this animation to something else. Like it's going to achieve the same effect, but it'll take me much longer to create an animation from scratch than it would to just take an animation that I've already created, change the rate scale, and add an additive pose on top of it. So basically, you just want to figure out how you want to manage your time. And if there's more important stuff to do, then work on that more important stuff. Because I believe that if you don't have something for some other state in your game, then it's more important to get that other state up and running than it is to, say, polish out a state that you already have up and running, because the state that's already up and running is all, for all intents and purposes, it's working. And so long as the animation is clear and you can understand what's going on, it may not be perfect, but that's a much better place to be than some other state that literally has nothing at all. Um, but just to take us through the states, we just say, hey, we're not sprinting anymore, and we're going into the sprint state. We're playing our move cache pose again, and then we're playing a sprint stop additive animation. I'm just leaning the character back there, putting the brakes on. So we put those brakes on. So let's play that and watch that. So we're going to sprint. Now we're going to stop. There you go. You see that animation play? Let's move from the side. So let go of the sprint key, and then you see that additive animation play on top of the regular sprint, or on top of the regular run. If we go to that cache pose again, we can see the how the blend space is working, like where we are in our blend space. So we're sprinting. Ooh, it is actually not showing that. Interesting. Probably because it's getting it as a cache pose. I bet if I moved it, it would update. I wonder. Let's just for funsies take all this, go back to our backup one. Just go to sprint, paste that in here. We're gonna take that there. We're gonna connect that, and we're just gonna see if this cache pose, this blend space is updating the way that it should. It is now. So yeah, something to do with the cache pose makes that blend space not update. And I don't know if you can tell, but as I let go of shift, it starts to drop speed. It starts to move its position in the blend space. So let's see if I can zoom in here. This is basic big as it's gonna get. So we're sprinting, and that little green X starts to drop just ever so slightly. So I also have strafing. So if I take us to strafe mode, we're going to sprint, and then I hit move forward right or move forward left. It starts to use those other spaces in the blend space. Basically, just use those other inputs. um, I like to do that every now and then, pretend I'm going to fall off a ledge. Okie dokie. So let's get cracking on that animation. But I'll stop the video there. Put that down. So you can see, again, and we originally created that animation in Maya. I've got that animation hooked up on the control rig in Unreal, and I'm going to use this as a foundation to build my sprint from. So hopefully that was fun, and I'll see you in the next video.